Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going over how you can snipe the six marks for text type in your Chinese paper one for both SL and HL. So I made this video because I want to give a shout out to user NG1117 and Randy MCD on Reddit for discussing discussing how to do well in this particular section of the writing task. So yeah, if you want, you can check out our Reddit discussion, which I will link down in the description below. So, the paper one Chinese SL, there's in total 30 marks. So 12 of them are to your use of the Chinese language, 12 are towards the message, so how well you answer the question. But I think, in my opinion, the easiest marks to get are six of the marks dedicated to writing the correct text type for whatever your response is. So in the writing task, it's, like I said, 3 sections. Language and message are 12 marks each, while the text type is 6. Now, in the old course, they used to not test you on text type since that was given in the question to you. But now, the question doesn't include the text type, and you need to decipher what you need to use it for. So this first page right here, it's got all the different text types split into 3 different categories. So it's one's personal text types, the other's special, formal, and then the third one is public. So we have Gurun Wenben, which is personal things, and that can be either a blog, Borke, diary, Ruji, and then a personal letter or email. So 电子邮件 or 个人信件. This one's like a social media or chat room site, but from my experience, they haven't tested this text type, and I highly doubt it's going to be in there. But these 4 are your personal text types that could be tested. And then in the second category, we have professional text types, 专业文本. So here we've also got Borke, we also have 电子邮件. Then we have 论文, which is a discussion. Then this one, 正式信, is a formal letter. And then we have something like a 报告, an announcement, 说明书, an explanatory document. These ones are going to be a bit more. These ones and also the public media text types are going to be more formal than your personal ones. And in the public media text types, we got stuff like ads, articles, blogs, 小册子 and 传单, so pamphlets and brochures. This one, 电影, no, you're not going to be writing a movie for your Chinese paper one, but usually this is like a movie review, and I've never seen a paper one where the IB asks you to write a movie review. Usually this will be in paper 2, your reading text, where, oh wait, no, paper 2 is the writing, paper 1 is the reading, my bad. So paper 1, usually they'll ask you to do a movie review occasionally, but paper 2, that's not going to be in there. An important one as well is 访谈, so an interview, and then we also have these bunch of other ones like 演讲稿, a speech script, 旅行指南, a travel guide. They test this one quite a lot. And yeah, those are the ones that are commonly tested, but I want to go over like how would you actually write these effectively. So moving on, we have this little document I made, which sort of goes over the different text types and how to write them properly. So first one we've got is a blog, so Borke or Bulwok. I go with Borke, but essentially how you write a blog is first you have to have your name, as always. So you have your name up here, then you've got like your website or whatever. You can just make this one up on the spot. And then important things are the title. So what's the title of your blog post? What's it about? So in this case, it's how to effectively 关于如何使用网络语言的建议. So this one's about like how to effectively use internet language suggestions. And of course we have the date here, the year, the month, the day, and also the time, which is so like this one's 11 a.m. in the morning, 11 in the morning. Gotta have this, and this would be like what 2 out of 6 for your text type marks. And then overall, as a general format, you should have like describing whatever the question's asking you. So if it's about internet language, describe what it is, describe what that is. And then 2 is like elaborate with your examples. And then 3 is your personal view or your personal opinion on it. And then and then the 4th part is to conclude. And in a blog, you have to invite your readers to respond. So in this example, we have 关于网络语言，大家是什么态度? So like, what's your attitude? And then you can say 欢迎给我留言 or just feel free. You're welcome to reply. And you're gonna have like, and then you can make up something, numbers for like how many have read, how many replies, and how many comments. So in a blog, the most important parts is your name, the website, the title and time, and then this inviting readers to respond, and then these read comments and replies, which you should have. And then here in these markers notes, which I've written, this is just a general thing for all text types, but when you start writing, you should indent your character spaces by 2 because the IB is really nitpicky on that. Like one time, I indented my character once, and I got removed 2 marks. So sometimes they can be strict as well for that. Moving on to the second, we have 辩论稿. So this is a debate, and the IB also loves this one as well. So here, the debate, what you're essentially doing is you are either the affirmative or negative side of a debate in a topic, and usually you'll present a scenario like you're doing a school debate in your class. You are the affirmative side, talk about blah. So then for text type marks, what you need to do is you need to address everyone. So in a debate, you are not only addressing the teachers and classmates, but you're addressing the juxi, so the chairman, the pingwei, which is like the judging panel, and then the other team. So like if you're the affirmative 正方面, then you have to address the negative 反方代表. And then you start off by saying 大家好, and then you say who you are. So 我是正方的代表, and then say your name. So this one's like Lin Dan. And then very important part is 我方的观点是. So this is what either your affirmative or negative stance on the topic that's being asked. So for example, you're talking about if phones are beneficial and you're on the affirmative, you say 我方的观点是手机对我们生活和学习的方式很好. And that would be your introduction. And then when you're formatting your debate, you should use formal vocabulary. And when you're addressing each paragraph, you start your first one with 首先, firstly, second, 其次, 次外, and then 最后, finally. And then when you're concluding your whole debate, you will just say 我方坚决认为, and then repeat your thesis and statement, and yeah, just finish it off with 谢谢大家. Right. Third one we have is application letter, 申请信. So basically, in this scenario, you'd have a question that would ask you like you are applying for a community service work or a certain job, and what they're gonna say is like state why you're the best candidate and you should be hired. So in this text, you've got your greeting, so 尊敬的王经理. So in this case, it's respect to Manager Wang or whoever is being stated in the question. And then you start off by going Nin Hao, wash and stating who you are, and then you got to state how you like found this job or like job opportunity. So in this case, they've said their school poster. They saw a job opportunity employment advertisement, and you state that you're interested and you want to write this application letter. And then for your next paragraph or so, you talk about your personality, work experience, and skills. So why would you be a good applicant? And normally the IB wants you to comment about how you can speak Chinese, how you are a hardworking student, you're good with communication, you're confident, and you're cooperative with other people. That's usually what they want you to state in your application letter. And then to conclude, you say like, I am a very suitable candidate for this job opportunity, and if you want a recommendation letter, please contact, for example, your school or whoever, usually your school, and then state that if the employer wants an interview, they can contact you, and then you got to put in like a fake phone number or whatever. And then finally, you put I hope you consider my application. So 我希望你能考虑我的申请. And then you finish it off with 祝工作顺利, and then put in your name and date. Alright, diary. Now, in my opinion, diary is the easiest of all the text types, as there's not really much formatting stuff to go in. The only main things you have to really pay attention for are you put the date, so the year, month, and day. You put the day of the week, and then for some reason you put the weather. Now, personally, I've never heard of anyone who puts the weather in as their diary entry, but if you guys do, then feel free to tell me why. And usually in a diary, once you have that simple formatting out the way, there's 3 parts to a diary. First, you just record what happened, and then you record and then you say what did you learn from it and how it impacted you. Oh, wait, there's 2. Yeah, 2 parts. So just what happened and how it has affected you. And then the diary is semi-formal, so you don't really need to be too formal with your writing. And to conclude, you just say, I think today was very interesting, I now understand, and something like that. Number 5 is a proposal, a jianyishu. So a jianyishu is similar to a letter, but the main difference is that it's got a title. So usually it will be Guan Yu, and then whatever topic you're talking about, and then jianyishu. So in this case, we have 关于善用网络语言的建议书. So like about how to properly use internet language, a proposal letter. And here you do a simple respectful address, so 尊敬的 whoever. So if you're addressing to the school, probably do 小张. And then body. So you talk about the situation, purpose, and significance of the proposal, and the content and details. So you start your introduction by going like, recently I've discovered, and then whatever issue you're talking about and how it affects people's lives. And then you have your 首先其次此外最后. But this isn't where you give like your suggestions or proposals. This is just talking about the issue at hand. Because when you're proposing your possible solutions, you actually go after that. So after you go 首先, after you list you state your issues and stuff, you use stuff like 第一, 第二, 第三, and then you state your solutions for how you can of how you can combat the issue here. And then to conclude, you can just say 我希望您考虑我的建议. So I hope you can consider my proposals or suggestions, and then end with 祝工作顺利, and then state your name and who you are. Letter, just like a Shu, but you don't have the title. You just address respectfully whoever you're addressing. Start with the issue, like introduction, state what issue you're doing, and then 首先其次此外最后 say your arguments and stuff, and then to conclude you just say, I hope you listen to my perspective and strengthen your knowledge, and yeah, and also 祝您工作顺利, and then your name and date, like so. Email. So email is almost like a letter, except key difference is that it's an email. So you have to fill out these details. So in an email, you have the receiver, the sender, the subject, and the time. So here you like make up a name for yourself as the sender, and make up the name of somebody else. If it's addressing a particular person, you put like something like, say, Xiaozhang or Jingli, manager, and then you also got to put this like made up email address just to secure those marks. And then always got to include the subject of an email. So this is where you put like your issue. In this case, it's about the school prohibiting the students from bringing their phones in class. And on the time, you just make up a year, month, day of the week, and then time. And then you respectively greet whoever you're emailing. Intro is mentioning the issue, and then giving your arguments, and then concluding the same way as a 建议书. It's like, I hope you consider my suggestions or perspective. And of course, end with 祝您工作顺利, and then put your name down there. Alright. Next is an interview. So we have 采访. This one, it can be semi-formal or formal depending on the question and who you're interviewing, as the question states. And to start, what you do is you have an introduction of who you are, who you're going to be interviewing, and then why you want to interview that person. So for the latter point, why you want to interview them, that's where you usually introduce your issue you want to discuss. So in this case, what they've done is they've said 签手是校刊记者. So 签枪 is the school magazine reporter. He's going to be interviewing the school charity fair organization person, and they want to talk about this topic. So that's going to be your issue. And then you start off with this sort of dialogue thing where you have Jija or whoever you are, and semicolon, and then the dialogue. And usually first you state directly to your made up interviewee what your issue is going to be, and like ask them for what they think of it, what their opinion is, and how would they take a stance on it. And then you continue this dialogue. We'll have a couple more examples later on, just to run through like how it would be written fully. And then to conclude, if you're the interviewer, you just say thank you for accepting this interview, and the interview would just say 不客气. Alright, next one we've got is speech. So we have 演讲稿, and this one, for example, if you're addressing the school, which is what most speeches in the IB do, we have just 尊敬的校长, headmaster, 各位老师, 各位同学. So each and every teacher, each and every classmate, say 大家好. I am whoever. Today I want to talk about the issue at hand. And then of course you have 首先其次最后. So instead of 此外, we just have these three. And then you talk about the issue you want to discuss. And then you have 总之 to conclude. And then state like your final message on the issue. So in this case, it's like, I hope students can restrict their internet time and use their phones effectively and stuff. And then you finish with 谢谢大家. If you're addressing just your class, you just remove the 尊敬的小章 and just have 尊敬的老师同学们 and then continue on as usual. Now handbill, and we have 10 and 11, which is handbill and pamphlet 传单和小册子. Now these ones are almost identical to each other. Basically what you have is topic heading, topic and your heading as a catching phrase. List your details, and then you have your background knowledge such as time, place, contact information, and it's semi-formal. So usually when you're writing a 传单 or 小册子, most often the time you're writing about like a particular event you're running, or usually an event you're running. So for example, if you're running a school trip to China as your topic in the IB paper 2, what you do is you just write like going to China, and then you list the details. So why do you want to organize a trip to China, and what purpose will it serve? And then your background knowledge would be like, so when is it? How can I contact to arrange all the stuff for travel? And then where are we gonna be when we depart and stuff? Yeah, and then a 小册子, it's basically identical to this, just listing your details and all that stuff. Alright, now we're going to go over a couple examples because you guys are probably confused and honestly bored by my voice right now. So, and some of these are are kind of vague, so we'll just run through some sample text from paper 1. So here we have our first one, which is just a simple email. So we have the receiver, the sender, the subject, but in a paper 2 exam, this thing would lose a mark instantly for the fact that they didn't have the time. And besides that, I think this is a fairly informal email, so they just have whoever they're addressing, and then they just have their name at the bottom, and a greeting like 祝好 or 祝学安. So for text type, I'd say just get like a 5 out of 6 or maybe a 4 if they were being really harsh. But yeah, this is more or less how you just write an email. And second one, we have a letter. Now normally letters don't have a title, but since this was taken from a paper 1, we'll just ignore that. But in a letter, we have our greeting. So in this case, it's quite informal. We have 亲爱的女儿 or dear daughter. So it's a personal text. And then we have 祝健康快乐. So you should always end with like something like a 祝好, like best wishes or wish for good health. And then you have whoever wrote the letter and the date. Alright, this one, it's an example of a 传单. So here we have our catching phrase. So in this case, it's young people's work experience opportunity. Then unlike all the previous text, this isn't written in paragraph form. This is just written like short dot point or sentences. So here we have 活动目标. So what do you want to achieve from this? So here they list some reasons. So wanting to help young people accumulate work experience, develop their employability, that kind of stuff. So the reasons, and then you've got small key details. So like who is the target audience, and then how many people can sign up, what is the price for this experience, and then you have other details like how long is it going to be held for, when is it going to be held, and then where is this event you're running going to be held. In this case, they've gone complex and split the event into two parts, so they've repeated these details again. Then they've got stuff like contacting, so how can someone contact you to participate in this activity? They've got like a deadline, and then some extra details for participants about the activity. And then another Chuandan, this one's a bit different as they don't repeat details over again, but we have an event to do with Mid-Autumn Festival. They've got a little introduction on like why this is important, and they've got the goals, so understanding Chinese culture, that kind of stuff. And then they've got the key details, so date, place, time, target audience, cost, number of people, deadline, and then like other details like special requirements, and then they end with a little conclusion. Here we have a sort of speech. So this one's about doing drugs, and here they've got go away, Qing Shaonian, go away, and officials. They would lose a mark automatically due to the fact that they didn't indent by 2 characters, and since they've repeated this, they would lose probably 3 marks at least. In paper 2, they really stress about indenting. Yeah. And here we have an example of an interview. So here they start off with an introduction. Now, this one doesn't really follow what you should be doing in paper 2. This one just introduces the issue, while in paper 2, if you're doing an interview, you need to state who you are and who the interviewee is and what the topic is going to be. And then here they've got the dialogue between the reporter and the interviewee, just back and forth. And then and this was probably ripped off from a news article, but for your paper 2, if you're doing an interview, you should end with like a conclusion. So the reporter saying thank you for your time, and the interviewee saying no problem. This one is just a plain old article, nothing too interesting about it. This one normally you wouldn't really write, but it's a good practice for paper 1. So here we've just got a simple article with a title, and normally an article has like the name of the author somewhere like below the title, but here they omit it. So that would, if you were writing an article, you'd lose at least 2 marks for that. But here they introduce the issue, talk about it, and then conclude. Alright, now we're going to go on to some questions, and I want you guys to respond in the comments about what kind of text type would be applicable. So we're going to skip this because it clearly states the text type used, and this is from the old course from pre-2020. But here are some questions from the new course which they would test. So in the IB exam, I'm not sure if you're given like the text types and you choose which one, but I believe it's important to read the question and sort of decipher which one you should use right off the bat. So I'll just do a sample one, and you guys can do the rest of them. So here the first one, it's 你是学校环保社社长，为了让同学们提高环保意识，你代表环保社号召全校师生改变生活方式，过低碳生活，保护地球。So here it's like you are the environmental protection club captain. For improving classmates' knowledge of environmental protection, you are representing the environmental protection club to rally all of the teachers and students to change their lifestyle to live a low carbon life and to protect the earth. So, which one do you think it is? Out of 建议书, 演讲稿, or 文章? So, in this case, you're representing someone or some organization, the environmental protection, and you're rallying to all students and teachers. So normally you'd think this would be one for a speech, right? Wrong. It's actually a 建议书, surprisingly. I got this one wrong, but it's a 建议书primarily by the fact that the second part, you're asking them to change their lifestyle and to live a low carbon. Now, you can try and use a speech and like propose suggestions in your final paragraphs, but it's much easier to use a 建议书, as the 建议书structure was primarily that you talk about the issue first, and then you'd have your simple dot points to propose solutions for how to live a low carbon lifestyle. So yeah, that would be your answer. And next one we have 最近学校餐厅的食物不再受到学生的欢迎。作为学生会主席，你要联系餐厅的王经理，表达你和同学们的不满，并提出改进服务的建议。So this one I think is fairly obvious, but I'll let you guys comment. And then third one, 你的中国朋友邀请你到他或他的家里庆祝一个中国传统节日。这次经验的你印象深刻，也让你对中国文化有更多的了解。谈谈你对这次经验的想法和感受。Number 4， 你刚刚参加了学校主办的全校游泳比赛，取得很好的成绩，收获很好。请从下列的文本类型中选择一个，谈谈这次活动给你带来什么样的体验，有收获。And then how many have we done? Alright, number 4. 你的学校主办一次演讲比赛，主题是我的想力。请从下列的文本类型中选择一个，把你的志向写出来。So, if you guys are wondering what this sentence is, it's basically, please, from the text types highlighted under, please choose one. The fifth one, 你和你妈妈为你早恋的问题有了一些误会，还吵了架，你很苦恼，想跟好朋友商讨这个问题。请从下列的文本类型中选择一个，讲述一下发生了什么，以及你的想法。And then 6， 在你上次的旅行中，你发现旅行其实会对环境造成不好的影响。学校快要放暑假了，在校刊上写一个作文说明，告诉同学们在旅行的时候怎么做才不会对环境不好。And then 7， 你是学校科学社团的团员，你希望能有更多同学参加这个社团活动，写一张作文，让同学们来参加你们的一个活动，最好是能 吸引那些觉得科学有难有没意思的同学。So, so for each one of those, I want you guys to write in the comments, and I will reply to you guys to see if it's correct or not, and give you reasons why. And then also just a little notification. I've been a bit delayed since I've got my English IELTS and TOC in a week's time, but I hope to get the extra oral tips published, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Peace out.